glories to all the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Chinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi from Charlotte, welcoming all of you to the mid-morning session today. I thank all of you for attending today, and please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. It is time for us to move on to our next session, which is class on Chaitanya Bhagavat. So sorry, today it's a special class since it is God Purnima. Happy God Purnima to all of you. And may I know who all have joined today's call, please, so that we can welcome you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Vrat Priya, Chinmayi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Priti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna and happy Gaur Purnima and happy Holi to all Vaishnava and Vaishnavis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji. Thank you so much for joining the call. Welcome. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vrajapriya Chinmayi Mataji. This is Kaumada Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to all the devotees, and our Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Mataji. Hare Krishna, Kaumudaki Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for attending today's call and blessing all of us. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Unconditional Devi Dasi from College Station. Hare Bol. Happy God Purnima.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to the call, Mataji, and happy God Purnima to you too.
Hare Krishna, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln. Wish you all a very happy Gaura Purnima.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji. Welcome to the call and happy God Purnima to you too.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, so glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji. Welcome to the call and happy God Purnima.
Happy God Purnima Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So, shall I start, Mataji? Is Prabhuji there?
Yeah, Mataji, quote and then start.
Okay, Mataji, sure. So let me read today's quote. Today's Srila Prabhupada quote is, "Keep your health in good condition and work very hard for Krishna. That is our motto of life." This was stated by His Divine Grace in a letter to Rai Rama on March 6th, 1969. So, let's move on to our next session, which is a class by His Grace Hariparshad Das Prabhuji. And Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association with us today and enlightening us on a very special topic on this most auspicious day. The topic Prabhuji is going to talk on is the personified appearance of unconditional mercy. So such a beautiful topic. Eagerly waiting to hear from you, Prabhuji. Please take over and continue, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, my pranams. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So thank you very much, Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, for kindly introducing me, inviting me. Thank you to Priti Vilasini Mataji and Kirtita Sundari Mataji and all the wonderful members of Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference for kindly inviting me here to speak something on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and on his upcoming appearance day. I wish all of you a very happy Gaur Purnima in advance, and I hope that all of you are doing good, keeping good health, and a very happy and joyous mood of bhajan and seva. So I would like to begin, but before that I would like to ask Mataji if it is possible for me also to record on my computer, or is it already being recorded somewhere?
I can actually stop the recording. You record, then I will do the recording. That is
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mataji.
But now.
So thank you very much once again, Priti Vilasini Mataji. Thank you to all the wonderful devotees here at Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference. And thank you for inviting me to speak something on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. It's a wonderful day. Tomorrow it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And it is very special because all of us who have come to the path of Krishna Bhakti have come because somebody was performing Sankirtan and we got attracted to some form of Sankirtan, either in the form of a book which was given to us, either in the form of a Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita class, or either in the form of a person speaking to us. So in some form or the other, it was Shri Krishna Sankirtan which attracted us to the Krishna Bhakti movement. And tomorrow is the appearance day of the personality who propagated Shri Krishna Sankirtan in the age of Kali. So before I speak something about him, I would like to invoke auspiciousness by performing Mangalacharan. So I'll sing Mangalacharan verses. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruh Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakam Chana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Avirbhav Mahamahotsav Tithi ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly inviting me here to speak something on Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is always preferable to not only speak something from the previous acharyas, but sometimes once in a while it is also good to speak something fresh, something that has come from one's heart. So I'll try to do both today. I'll try to speak something from the previous acharyas, and I'll also try to speak something, although very insignificant, but something that has come from my heart. So I would once again thank all of you for kindly being here. I'll share my screen for the presentation, and most of you should be able to see it just now. So thank you very much once again. Our topic today is the personified appearance of unconditional mercy, and tomorrow is Shri Gaur Purnima, and it is a very important day for all of us because, as I said previously, we all came on the path of Krishna Bhakti because of somebody approaching us and telling us about Bhagwan Shri Krishna. In the previous ages, people who were voluntarily interested in Krishna Bhakti would take the trouble to pursue spiritual life at the expense of everything else in their lives. They would have to give up family, they would have to give up their profession often, and they would have to go far away to find a bona fide guru. And this was how most individuals in the past pursued their spiritual life. But in the age of Kali, seeing that most people have become mandaha sumanda matayo manda bhagya hyupadruta, most of them have become manda, they have become dull-headed. Sumanda matayo, their intelligence is also extremely dull. Manda bhagya, and their fortune never favors them. And hi upadruta, they're always disturbed. So seeing this, it was necessary to bring religiosity on the doorsteps of people who will not otherwise take to religiosity by themselves. This, dear devotees, is Sankirtan. To propagate Bhagwan's name, form, qualities, pastimes, etc. And to do so with an aim of bringing auspiciousness to the lives of those individuals who are going through an inauspicious time in the age of Kali Yuga. So, Srila Prabhupada says in one of the purports, one cannot be complete in Krishna consciousness unless he accepts Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates as the only means for success. It is because of these considerations that the Lord accepted sannyas. For thus people would offer him respect and very quickly come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, inaugurated the Krishna consciousness movement, without his mercy one cannot be elevated to the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness. So this is from the purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 8.10, where Srila Prabhupada says very clearly that when a person understands the importance, the mood and the method of bhakti that was propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then all success is ensured. Otherwise, there is a risk of failure in the age of Kali. There is a good reason why. The reason is that in the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the philosophical principles have been very carefully protected by his associates such as Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, etc. And these authorities have become the standard in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement in deciding how Krishna Bhakti should be executed. And as long as these standards are being followed, we can be certain 100% that the pure understanding of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will always be there. So one who accepts Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, Sri Prabhupada says, and his associates means the Goswamis, especially Sri Rupa Goswami, then it's very easy to come to the platform of complete Krishna Bhakti. So having said this, dear devotees, as I said, it is important to offer something fresh to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and something which has come from the heart. So before I do that, I would like to offer a verse from the previous Acharyas to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This verse was composed by Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. It's a very nice verse. And this verse has a lot of alliterations, but a very nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamritam. This verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. I'll try to sing it. It's the same tune as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. So those of you who know how to sing Shad Goswami Ashtakam, you can try to sing with me. Helo dhunita khedaya vishadaya pronmiladamodaya shamyachastra vivadaya rasadaya chittarpitonmadaya shashvat bhakti vinodaya samadaya madhurya maryadaya Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tavadaya Bhuyada Mandodaya. So Shri Swarup Damodar Goswami, he composed this verse. And this verse is very sweet. Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe, O Ocean of Mercy, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tavadaya Bhuyad Amandodaya. Let there be an awakening of your auspicious mercy. And what is that auspicious mercy? Helo dhunita khedaya. Your mercy easily drives away all kinds of material lamentation. Vishadaya, by making everything pure and blissful. Pronmiladamodaya. Indeed, your mercy awakens the transcendental bliss and covers all material pleasures. Shamyachastra vivadaya. By your auspicious mercy, quarrels and disagreements arising amongst different scriptures are vanquished. Rasadaya. Your auspicious mercy pours forth transcendental mellows. Chittarpitonmadaya. And thus causes the heart to jubilate. Shashvat bhakti vinodaya. Your mercy which is full of joy. Samadaya, always stimulates devotional service. Madhurya Maryadaya, and glorifies conjugal love of God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dayanidhe, Ocean of Mercy. Tavadaya Bhuyad Amandodaya. Let there be an awakening of your auspicious mercy. So dear devotees, a very nice verse which was composed by Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. Today is an important time to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish a movement, and a movement is something that moves. Moves means it progresses, and progresses while keeping itself rooted in the original principles, in the original siddhantas that were propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Rupa Goswami. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful. In fact, he is Bhagwan Shri Krishna. He is that same Lord who appeared in Dwapar Yuga, and he appeared as Bhagwan Shri Krishna. And as I said in the beginning of my presentation, if you saw the slide, it said Shri Shri Radha Damodarau Jayatah. So he appeared as Shri Damodar. And Bhagwan Shri Damodar is very merciful. He is very merciful because in the age of Kali, he accepts the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Priti Vilasini Mataji, I would like to offer a few verses of my composition to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I would like to have your permission, Mataji, if I could offer some verses of my composition to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes,
Is
Prabhu.
that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
But before I offer, I would like to offer a verse by Sri Rupa Goswami, because before anybody offers verses composed by themselves, they're always hesitant as to how these verses will be received. And this hesitation is also in me. I would like to offer some verses which were composed by myself, but the hesitation is whether the intelligent devotees will accept these verses. So when Sri Rupa Goswami would write his verses, this hesitation was there in his mind too. But Sri Rupa Goswami wrote a verse to drive away all that hesitation. So I would first like to offer a verse by Sri Rupa Goswami in order to remove my own hesitation in speaking the verses which will come after this. Sri Rupa Goswami, when he began composing his Vidagdha Madhav Natakam, his drama named Sri Vidagdha Madhav, in the beginning, he felt a little hesitant in his mind as to whether the intelligent souls will accept this composition named Vidagdha Madhav. Whenever there is a new composition, there are obviously some people who are naturally suspicious, because the general trend in society is Puranam Ityeva, that which is old automatically becomes bona fide, and Na Chapi Kavyam Navamityavadyam, and that which is new is automatically seen with suspicion. So Sri Rupa Goswami knew when he was writing Vidagdha Madhav that since his literature is a new one, obviously some individuals may see it with suspicion. So Sri Rupa Goswami wrote a verse to dissipate all those hesitations in his mind. This is a very nice verse in the beginning of Sri Vidagdha Madhav. This verse is in the meter Shikharini. I'll try to sing this verse, same tune as Sri Jagannath Ashtakam. Mamasmin sandarbhe yadapi kavetana tilalita mudam dhasyantyasyan tadapi hari gandhat budhagana apashala grama plavanagari mudgara sarasa Sudhi ko pirapi namita murdha napibate. Shri Rupa Goswami says, Mamasmin sandarbhe. Now I am composing some new verses. He says, Yadapi kavetana atilalita. Although my kavita, my poetry, na atilalita, is not so beautiful, but still, Mudam dhasyantyasam. But still I am confident that learned individuals, devotees will exhibit happiness in my poetry. And what is the reason? Because you have written it? No, that is not the reason. Tadapi hari gandhat budhagana. The intelligent people will accept it because it has hari gandha. It is filled with the aroma of the pastimes of Sri Hari. Let this be the reason for devotees exhibiting happiness in the poetry. And then he gives a beautiful example. Apahashala grama plavanagare modgar sarasa. Apaha, water. Kaupirapi. Usually water which is taken from a well. In those days, water used to be taken out from a well. So well water is considered to be, not so important, insignificant. People use it for various purposes: bathing, washing, cleaning, drinking, etc. But when that same ordinary water, Shalagrama Plavana Garimodgara Sarasa, when it becomes beautiful because of coming in contact with Shaligram Shila, when that same well water is used to bathe the Shaligram Shila, when it gets Harigandha, when it gets the fragrance of the Shaligram Shila, when it comes in contact with the Shaligram Shila, then Sudhi Kova, Kaupirapi, even though it is well water, still intelligent people touch it to their heads and honor it because it has contact of Sri Hari. So dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami's composition in Vidagdha Madhav, which drives away hesitation from all those individuals who wish to write something in the future, which is related to Bhagavan Sri Hari. So he says, although my poetry is not very elegant, na atilalita, yet it is clear that intelligent souls will exhibit great pleasure in such poetry, since it carries the fragrant aroma of Sri Hari. Water from a well may be very ordinary and insignificant, yet it is immediately respected and consumed by learned people when they hear that it has bathed a most auspicious Shalagram Shila. So dear devotees, this is the mood with which I am presenting some verses in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who previously was Damodar. These verses were composed back in 2021, but I never got a chance to present them. So today is a good chance because it's Gaur Purnima, and this is a good opportunity to present those verses for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas as well as for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Priti Vilasini Mataji, there is something very important about Bhagavan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is very merciful. And one reason is that in Dwapar Yuga, he did not perform one activity. But in Kali Yuga, he is performing that one activity and he is teaching it to others. So Priti Vilasini Mataji, can you guess which activity he is performing and teaching to others?
Sankirtan?
Yes, Mataji?
Is it Naam Sankirtan?
Yes, 100%. So in the previous age of Dwapar, our Bhagwan Damodar, he was Lila Purushottam. Bhagwan Ram is Maryada Purush. He establishes the codes of human behavior. Shri Krishna is known as Lila Purush. He does everything for his own enjoyment. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Audarya Purush. He is most merciful. He does everything for the benefit of the fallen living entities of Kali Yuga. And therefore, when in comparison to Shri Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dearer to us because he is the one who appeared in Kali Yuga to bestow the holy name of Bhagwan Shri Krishna upon us. So this verse is in the meter Prithvi, and this verse specifies what is the reason that Damodar appeared in Kali Yuga. So this is the meter Prithvi, a very sweet meter. I'll try to sing it. Nadhenurasamoshanam nadadhipatrika bhanjanam namatrikrita bandhanam chatanute kalau Shri Hari Swayam yudara mandale sumani dama badnatya ho Swarama chajapatya sau kapata vesha damodara. Nadhenu rasamoshanam. Dear devotees, in this age of Kali Yuga, Na dhenu ras. Dhenu means cow. Rasa means all the milk products that comes from cows. Moshanam. There is no stealing of milk products. Na dadhi patrika bhanjanam. Bhanjanam means breaking of dadhi patrika, of yogurt pots. So there is no stealing of cow milk products. There is no breaking of yogurt pots. Na matrikrita bandhanam. And certainly there is no binding of the Lord by his mother. Chatanute kalau Shri Hari. In Dwapar Yuga, in the previous age, his mother tied him with a rope to the mortar. But in Kali Yuga, he does not need a mother to tie a rope around him. Swayam hi udara mandale. He himself ties a rope around his stomach. Sumani dam badhnatya ho. But this rope has manis. It has beads around it. And what does he do on those beads? Swanamacha japatya sau. He chants his own name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Did you recognize, dear devotees, who he is? Kapata Vesha Damodara. He is that same Damodar who has taken on a very sneaky disguise of a sannyasi in Kali Yuga. So this is the translation. In the age of Kali, Sri Hari does not display pastimes of stealing milk products. Neither does he display pastimes of breaking yogurt containers, nor the pastimes of getting tied up by his mother. How wonderful. In this age, he himself ties a rope, dama, strung with beautiful beads around his belly, udara. So even in this age, he is Damodar, because he himself tied a rope around his own belly. And in this way, he is the same Damodar who is now crookedly disguised as a sannyasi and is chanting his own name. So dear devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for those of us who know, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not using a bead bag when he used to chant names. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in those days, there were no bead bags. So they used to make a rope and put it around their own stomach. And you can see in the painting, and on that rope, they would chant Bhagwan's Naam. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had such a rope, beaded rope around his udara. Therefore, dear devotees, he is that same Damodar. But the only difference is, in the age of Kali, those pastimes are not happening. And he has tied a rope himself voluntarily around his own stomach, and in order to chant Bhagwan's Naam, dear devotees. So this is the first offering to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has become Damodar in the age of Kali, chanting his own names. Priti Vilasi Mataji, do you think these verses are okay? Should I continue?
Yeah.
Or should I pause?
They are very, very beautiful. Please continue, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So, dear devotees, in this way, Damodar, he chants his own names in Kali Yuga, and he gives this name to everybody. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a very famous statement. Yadi ama prati prema thakibe tomar, tabe Krishna vyatirikta na gaibe ar. Yadi ama prati prem, if you have love for me, thakibe tomar, if you truly have love for me, tabe Krishna vyatirikta na gaibe ar, then do not sing of anybody besides Krishna. So sing always of Bhagwan Krishna's Naam, think always of Bhagwan Krishna's Roop, his Leela, etc. Now, dear devotees, this is not the only way in which he was merciful. In Dwapar Yuga, Bhagwan did not have the opportunity to accept sannyas. Although in the Bhagavad Gita, he said, Sarva dharman parityajya, give up all varieties of religiousness. But he himself did not demonstrate what is the meaning of giving up all varieties of religiousness and surrendering to him. So he merely spoke it in the Bhagavad Gita, but there was no opportunity to practically demonstrate it in his life. That practical demonstration came in Kali Yuga, because Damodar, himself got an opportunity to show what is sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. So he got an opportunity to show complete surrender in the age of Kali. In the age of Dwapara, he was simply speaking. But in the age of Kali Yuga, he demonstrated it through his own actions because he accepted sannyas. And this is a very, this verse, it specifies the reason for him accepting sannyas. Same meter, Prithvi, I'll try to sing. Puran khalu yashodaya grihane baddha asam yada tadati vikalo bhavam na cha punargriha baddhatam prasu kalu yuge karotviti vichintya vairagya drig babhu vasayatishvara kapata vesha damodara. Pura, Shri Krishna was remembering previously in Dwapar Yuga, Khalu Yashodaya, by Mother Yashoda, something was done to me. What was done? Griha Nibaddha. I was Nibaddha, I was tied in the Griha, in the home. So I was tied in the home to a mortar. Yada. And when that happened, Tada Ati Vikalo Bhavan. I became very distressed. I was crying at that time. I remember that crying. So Damodar decided, Na cha punar griha baddhatam. Henceforth, in age of Kali, I will not accept griha baddha. I will not accept getting tied up in griha. Here the term griha has a second meaning. The second meaning of griha is wife. Because na griham grihamithyahur grihini griham uchyate. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says, actually it's not a four walls of the home which make a home a home. It is the wife which makes the home truly a home. So nacha punar griha baddhatam. I will not become bound up in griha. The second meaning of griha is wife. Prasu kali yuge karu, to let my mother, not bind me up permanently in griha in the age of Kali. Iti vichintya, thinking like this, vairagyatrik, he took to renunciation. Babhu vasayatishvaraha, and became the lord of all sannyasis. Kapata vesha damodara. But for me, he is that same Damodar who is deceitfully disguised now as a sannyasi. So this is the translation, dear devotees. Previously, as Krishna, I was griha nibaddha, tied inside the home by Mother Yashoda. At that time, I became extremely distressed. Now again in Kali Yuga, my mother, Shachi Devi, should not make arrangements for me to again become griha nibaddha, tied to a wife. Thinking in this way, our Damodar dressed himself deceitfully, took to renunciation, and became the lord of all sannyasis. So in this way, dear devotees, our Bhagwan Damodar accepted sannyas in Kali Yuga and took to complete renunciation. And not only did he do that, he also taught others the same art of becoming renounced. Because Mahaprabhu Bhakta Vairagya Pradhan, the main thing about the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that they are Vairagya Pradhan. Detachment is primarily visible in their character. So in this way, our Damodar not only accepted sannyas himself in Kali Yuga, but he created an entire movement where many individuals and many devotees ended up accepting sannyas. And in this way, he was the same Damodar who came in Kali Yuga to bestow the highest benefit upon all of us. So this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepting sannyas from Sri Keshav Bharti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas in the Bharati Sampradaya of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. In those days, there was no system of separate sannyas for the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not yet started the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas in a sampradaya in which it was very easy to accept sannyas. And the easiest sampradaya to accept sannyas in those days was Sri Adi Shankaracharya sampradaya. It was also the most lenient sampradaya as far as giving sannyas was concerned, because although somebody may be a Vaishnava, they were given sannyas in the Adi Shankaracharya sampradaya. Yad ahareva virajet, tad ahareva pravrajet. The moment on which you become detached, that very moment you can take sannyas. So other Vaishnav sampradayas also had sannyas at that point of time, such as Shri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya. But their sannyas was more institutionalized and controlled in comparison to the sannyas given in Shri Adi Shankaracharya Sampradaya. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas in the line of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, took sannyas from Sri Keshav Bharti, and this is a painting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before his wonderful hair were shaved, before he became a sannyasi. All the residents are crying, but it is our Damodar who is deceitfully accepting this dress in order to prevent becoming Griha Nibaddha, tied to a wife. Dear devotees, this is our Damodar. Now, this is not the only way in which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the personification of mercy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the personification of mercy because he shows the proper path to take in the age of Kali. In Dwapar Yuga, he appeared as Shri Krishna, but he did not take to the path of a Vaishnav Sampradaya. Krishna himself never got initiated in a Vaishnav Sampradaya. Krishna himself did not show the path of Krishna Bhajan by getting initiated in a Vaishnav Sampradaya, because Krishna is Bhagavan himself. But when that same Damodar appeared in Kali Yuga, he showed the correct path for us Jivas to get initiated by a proper bona fide Guru. This verse is in remembrance of that pastime. Same meter, Prithvi. Uru khala kusangataavahamatiwa khinno pura bhavam na cha punarbhavet kali yuge khailairavrite kusangatirata satamanucharo bhavanityasau babhuva guru dikshitah kapata vesha damodara. Uru khala kusangatav. So Damodar is remembering Kusangatav. In Dwapar Yuga, I was in Kusangati, bad association. Whose bad association? Uru Khala. Ulu Khala refers to mortar, because Krishna climbed on the mortar, and by climbing on the mortar, he stole everything and distributed it to the monkeys. So he's remembering it as Kusangati, bad association. Uru Khala means mortar, but Uru Khala also has another meaning. Uru means great and Khala means ruffian. So Uru Khala has two meanings. One meaning is mortar, the entire term Uru Khala, and another meaning is Uru, great, Khala, ruffian, great ruffian. Uru Khala Kusangatav. In the bad association of Uru Khala, Ahamativa Khinno Pura. I was extremely dejected in my past life because I got tied to him. Abhavam nacha punar bhavet. So although I became extremely distressed in Dwapar Yuga, nacha punar bhavet. No, let it not be in the future in Kali Yuga. Khalai ravrite. Because Kali Yuga is full of khalas, full of ruffians. So let that same association with Khala or Uru Khala not happen in Kali Yuga. Kusangatir. Atah satam anucharo bhavani. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, I will not get into any mischiefs. I will become a simple, straightforward follower of the sadhus. I will take the dress of a sadhu in Kali Yuga. And therefore, Babhuva Guru Tikshita. Therefore, he became initiated by a bona fide Guru in Kali Yuga. But who is that? He is the same Kapata Vesha Damodara. Inside, he is that same Damodar who is deceitfully disguised now as a sannyasi. So this is the translation. previously in the undesirable association of Uru Khala, grinding water, or Uru means big and Khala means ruffian. I experienced immense dejection. Therefore, may I never ever again be in the association of Uru Khala, big ruffians, especially in the age of Kali, which is filled with such khalas or such ruffians. Therefore, may I now become a devout follower of the sadhus. Thinking in this way, our Damodar, who is now dressed up deceitfully as a sannyasi, accepted initiation from a bona fide guru, Shri Ishwar Puri. Dear devotees. So this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who went to Gaya. And in Gaya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met his spiritual master, Shri Ishwar Puri, for the first time. And when he met Shri Ishwar Puri, he said, Aaj mora Gaya yatra bhaila safal. Today my visit to Gaya was successful because I got a darshan of you, O Shri Ishwar Puri. And here you can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Vishnu Pad Mandir in Gaya. So this is the temple where Lord Vishnu's footprint is marked. And this is the place where many individuals go to offer Shraddh and Tarpan to their deceased forefathers. So those forefathers who have passed away, they offer oblations to forefathers in this temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also doing that for his father Sri Jagannath Mishra, who had recently passed away. And it was there that he met Shri Ishwar Puri and accepted initiation from Shri Ishwar Puri. Now, Shri Ishwar Puri, by the very surname Puri, we can understand that Shri Ishwar Puri was also initiated in Shri Adi Shankaracharya's Sannyas Sampradaya, because Puri is also a title of a sannyasi from Shri Adi Shankaracharya's Sampradaya. So here is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Ishwar Puri in the temple of Lord Vishnu at Gaya. So dear devotees, many reasons for our Damodar appearing in Kali Yuga. Now, this is not the only reason, dear devotees. So, the incarnation in Kali Yuga of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is for one important reason. The important reason is that individuals in Kali Yuga are like monkeys. And they're like monkeys because they have no control over their senses. They're also like monkeys because their minds are flickering always and jumping from one branch to another. So in Dwapar Yuga, he fed the monkeys. But in Kali Yuga, he came to rescue the monkeys of this age, dear devotees. So this verse is in remembrance of that pastime. Savanarachayaya yadvadadat pura snehama Pyaho Kali Yuge tathaiva punaraichadutsarjanam Pradhatumata eva vanarachayayatam snehamed Pyabhut pranaya varidah kapatavesha damodara. Savanara Chayaya. Vanar means monkey. Chaya means groups. Vanara Chaya, groups of monkeys. So to those groups of monkeys, he did something in Dwapar Yuga. Yadvad adadat pura sneham. He offered them sneha. Sneha means fatty butter. So in Dwapar Yuga, adadat, he offered sneham, fatty butter, to the groups of monkeys. Vanara Chaya. Aho, Kali Yuge, how amazing. In Kali Yuga also. Tathaiva punaraichadutsarjanam. He desired to do the same thing again in Kali Yuga. Therefore, Pradatum, in order to give, Ataeva va narachayaya tam sneham. He wanted to give the same sneha. Sneha previously in Dwapar Yuga meant butter. But sneha in Kali Yuga meant sneha, affection for Shri Krishna. Sneha also means affection, love of God. So in order to give sneha, love of God, to va nara, va separates out, nara, nara means humans, va nara. We don't know whether these are humans or animals. Va nara chayaya. In order to give that same sneha, love of God, to va nara, to those who are humans or subhumans. Abhut pranaya varida. He became the great cloud showering prema on everyone. But who was he? He's the same kapata vesha damodara. He's the same Damodar who is deceitfully disguised, this time as a sannyasi. So this is the translation. How wonderful. Just as he previously bestowed sneha, fatty butter, upon multitudes of vanaras, monkeys in Dwapar Yuga, he also similarly desired to bestow such gifts again in Kali Yuga. Therefore, in order to thoroughly bestow sneha, this time sneha is love of God, upon multitudes of naras, human beings, or maybe human beings. We don't know, whether residents of Kali Yuga can be really classified as human beings. But therefore, nara, we don't know. Optional human beings. Therefore, our Damodar, who is now crookedly disguised as a sannyasi, became the great showering cloud of prema. Dear devotees, so this was the Damodar on our left hand side, who was giving sneha, butter, to the vanaras, to the monkeys. And this same Damodar crookedly took the disguise of a sannyasi and is now offering sneha, love of God, to the vanaras, to those who are subhumans in the age of Kali Yuga. Dear devotees, this is the magic of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the magnanimous nature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is mercy personified. He is the same Bhagavan Damodar who has appeared in Kali Yuga for rescuing all of us from the most degraded situation in life. Priti Vilasini Mataji, I hope you did not fall asleep.
No, it's so interesting. Thank you, Prabhu.
All right. So thank you so much, Mataji. So, dear devotees, there are many reasons for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully appearing in Kali Yuga. Another reason for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being most merciful is that in Dwapar Yuga, when he was Krishna, he spoke a lot about bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita. Yo mad bhaktaha same priyaha, mad bhaktaha same priya, my devotee is very dear. He who becomes my devotee is very dear. But he did not practically show what a devotee is like. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. A devotee is a rasik. And that rasik is meant to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. But Bhagavan Krishna himself did not show the mood of a rasik bhakta, a rasik devotee, a connoisseur of rasa in the age of Dwapar Yuga. But in the age of Kali, he became most merciful because he showed what it is to be a rasik devotee. The Srimad Bhagavatam, which was composed just after the disappearance of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, it specified that you have to become a rasika in order to relish this literature. But the person who showed what a rasika is truly was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what he could not achieve as Damodar was achieved as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This verse is in remembrance of this pastime. Same meter. Nyashedhadahirat purahi mama gorasaswadanam jananyapi punastathaiva kurute tiruštosmyaham karishya ata eva tatkali yuge mohuschetyasav abhudrasika shastravit kapata vesha damodara. So Nyashedhat, somebody prevented me. Who prevented me in Dwapar Yuga? Ahirat, the king of snakes. The king of snakes is Sankarshan, Balram, Anantashesh. So Balram prevented me, Pura, in Dwapar Yuga. And what did he prevent? Mama go rasa asvadanam. Asvadanam means tasting. I wanted to taste something. What did I want to taste in Dwapar Yuga? Go rasa. The rasa, the nectar of go. Go here means earth. So I wanted to taste the nectar of earth. I wanted to eat dirt. But there was one person who prevented me. Who prevented me? Ahirat. Balram prevented me from having go rasa, earth nectar, aswadanam, relishment. So relishment of earth nectar was prevented by Balaram. And Janani api punas tathaiva kurute. Not only Balaram was preventing that, my mother Yashoda is also doing the same to me. Why? She is also preventing my go rasa aswadanam, my tasting of go rasa. Go rasa here means cow products, the nectar derived from go or cows. My mother is also preventing me from, eating cow products. So she tied me to a mortar so that I could not eat. So ati rushtosmiham. I'm very angry now. Karishya ata eva tat kali yuge. Therefore, I will now perform go rasa aswadanam in Kali Yuga. Cheti asau, thinking this, abhud rasika shastravit. Our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga. That same Damodar appeared in Kali Yuga and did go rasa aswadanam. Aswadanam, he relished rasa, the nectar of go, all the Vedic literature in the world. He became a connoisseur of rasa. So the third meaning of go is literature, so or speech. So he became a connoisseur of all good speech. He became a rasik, but it was the same Damodar from the previous age who was dressed deceitfully as a sannyasi. So previously the lord of all snakes, Balaram, had managed to prevent my go rasa aswadan, earth flavor relishment, by preventing me from eating dirt. Here go means earth. Now my mother is again preventing the same go rasa aswadan, cow nectar relishment, because Yashoda tied him up and prevented him from stealing and eating milk products. So she prevented his go rasa aswadan. Go here means cow. Therefore I am extremely angry. Therefore in Kali Yuga, I will thoroughly perform go rasa aswadan, relishment of the nectar of go, all Vedic knowledge. Thinking in this way, our Damodar, who is now disguised as a sannyasi, became the knower of all rasa related literature as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is our Bhagavan, who was first prevented by Balram from relishing go, that is mud, and then was prevented by Yashoda from relishing go rasa, that is cow products, by Yashoda. But now in Kali Yuga, he is relishing go rasa, the nectar of Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, by becoming a rasik in the association of all of his close associates. This is the Lord who fulfilled his desires in Kali Yuga. And mercifully, he also taught us how to become a rasik devotee. If you want to see what a rasik devotee is, you cannot look at the Dwapar Yuga version of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have to see the Kali Yuga appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, it is he who is truly a rasik as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we can happily emulate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to become rasik devotees ourselves. So, various reasons for Bhagavan coming in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and best having mercy. Now, another reason for our Damodar appearing in Kali Yuga is to give his devotees a merciful curse. Priti Vilasini Mataji, does it sound strange that Bhagavan will curse his devotees?
Yes, Prabhu.
Do you want to be cursed, Mataji, by Bhagavan?
I don't mind if it is Bhagavan.
So Bhagavan, wow, wait, that's very nice. That's a good spirit, you know. So yes, but some of us may become concerned if Bhagavan gives us a curse. But our Damodar has given us a very merciful curse. And this curse is discussed in this verse, in the same meter Prithvi. This verse is as follows. Prasustarapayascha nalabhamiti shrute te kalau hasanti mama bhakta ka ahamihati rushtosmyata stanandhaya ita param namama kopi bhakto스tviti shapan bhavati muktidah kapata vesha damodara. Prasu stana paya. Prasu means mother. Stana means breast. Paya means milk. So the milk from the breast of my mother. Cha na alabham. I could not get. When in Damodar Leela, he was drinking Yashoda's breast milk. But his desire was not satisfied because she got up and left in order to save that milk. So prasu stana payascha na alabham. I could not get my required quota of my mother's breast milk. Iti shrute, hearing this, te kalau hasanti mama bhakta. My devotees are, humorously smiling and laughing in Kali Yuga. I was angry, but on hearing the pastime, a lot of humor is generated in the minds of my devotees, especially in Kali Yuga. They are smiling on hearing this pastime that I was angry. Ahamihati rushtosmyata. I am very angry now. Priti Vilasini Mataji, when you hear Damodar Leela, when you hear that his mother got up and left and he was biting his lower lip and he broke all the pots. Have you smiled at any point of time by hearing such Leela?
Yes, all the time.
So, Mataji, Bhagwan is cursing you now. Please hear the curse.
Sure.
Stanandhaya itah param namama kopi bhaktostvi iti. Now, Priti Vilasini Mataji, you are cursed that henceforth you will never ever again get to drink the breast milk of any mother.
Hari, Hari.
You laughed on my, inability to drink my mother's breast milk. Now I curse you. May you never get to drink the breast milk of any mother. Shapan bhavati muktidah. But this curse is very merciful. Because if you are cursed to never get to drink the breast milk of any mother, it means that you will never have to take a birth again. Because one gets to drink the breast milk of a mother only when one takes a birth from a mother. By cursing his devotees in this way, Damodar ensured that in Kali Yuga, those devotees who are relishing his pastimes will never have to taste the breast milk of a mother ever again in any future life, because they will be liberated. Bhavati Muktidaha. Therefore, he became Muktidaha, the bestower of liberation, Kapata Vesha Damodaraha, in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but who is the same Damodar disguised deceitfully as a sannyasi. Did you like the curse, Mataji?
Wonderful curse.
Thank you. So upon hearing that I could not drink the breast milk of my mother, since she left me to save the boiling milk, these Kali Yuga devotees of mine laugh out in humor. Seeing this, I am very angry. Therefore, no devotee of mine should henceforth be able to drink the breast milk of any mother. Mercifully cursing in this way, our Damodar, who is dressed deceitfully as a sannyasi, is now becoming the great bestower of liberation. Now, this is what it is, dear devotees. On seeing the pastime on the left-hand side, the devotees on the right-hand side are laughing, you can see. So our Damodar is cursing all of them as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. May you never take birth again, and may you never again have to drink the breast milk of any mother. This is our Damodar who bestowed the highest mercy on the devotees of Kali Yuga. Now, this is not the only reason why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most merciful, the personification of mercy. He is also protecting the agamas. Priti Vilasini Mataji, what is the meaning of agama? Can you try to guess?
So it's a set of, it's a part of the Vedic literature.
Yes, Vedic literature. It's a part of Vedic literature. Nigam and agam. So Nigam is basically Nigam and agam. It refers to Vedic and Tantric literature. So protecting the agamas. So in Dwapar Yuga, he did not protect the agamas, but in Kali Yuga, he is protecting the agamas. This verse is celebrating that pastime. Uru khalaku sangati kuruta agamotpatanam yathatra na tatha kalau bhavatu tat kadapityasau vichintya jagati tale kimu babhuva vishwambhara sadagama surakshakah kapata vesha damodara. Krishna is thinking, Uru khala kusangatihi. In Dwapar Yuga, kusangatihi, because of bad association of Uru khala, of the mortar, kuruta agamotpatanam, something got uprooted. What got uprooted? Agamas got uprooted. Agama, one meaning is tree. So the trees got uprooted because of coming in contact with Uru khala, or the mortar. Yatha atra, just like it happened in Dwapar Yuga, na tatha kalau bhavatu. Let it not happen in Kali Yuga. Let it not happen in Kali Yuga that agamas, second meaning of agama is Vedic literature. Let them not come in contact with Uru khala. Let them not come in contact with great ruffians. Therefore, kadapi, let it never happen. Asau, vichintya, thinking like this. Jagati tale, on this earth, kimu babhuva vishwambhara, he became Vishwambhara, the supplier, the fulfiller of all Vedic literature. Sada gama surakshakaha, the protector of all bona fide Vedic literature. But he was the same kapata vesha Damodara, same Damodar who was disguised deceitfully as a sannyasi. So translation, in this age of Dwapar, the troublesome association of an Uru khala, mortar, causes the uprooting of agamas, trees. However, let it never be so in Kali Yuga, that the same troublesome association of Uru khala, Uru means big, khala means ruffians, should ever lead to the uprooting of agamas. Second meaning of agama is Vedic literature. Having contemplated this, our Damodar turned into Vishwambar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and became the great protector of Sad Agama, bona fide Vedic literature, and in this way bestowed great mercy upon the entire planet. So he protected Srimad Bhagavatam and other bona fide Vedic literature, and this is his another mercy on all of us. It is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who taught us to protect and preserve Vedic literature such as Srimad Bhagavatam and other literatures which are in pursuance of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is he who instilled a culture of daily studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Protecting a literature means to keep a tradition of the literature alive in the Sampradaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept that tradition alive in the Sampradaya. And he himself used to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, himself used to hear other devotees speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, our Damodar bestowed immense mercy as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now one last verse in this set of 8 verses, and this is our image in which on the left hand side, by contact with Uru khala, by contact with mortar, the agamas were uprooted, the trees were uprooted. But on the right hand side, he is protecting the agamas, protecting the Vedic literature from Uru khalas, from all the ruffians of Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, there were many ruffians who wanted to burn Vedic literature, who wanted to destroy Vedic literature. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu systematically asked his disciples to preserve Vedic literature. You can see one devotee is copying Vedic literature, another devotee is writing a commentary on it. So dear devotees, he has taught us, keep the flow of the Sampradaya going, write literature, write new literature, preserve the old literature, and keep the Sampradaya strong by doing so. So dear devotees, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is protecting the agamas in the age of Kali. This is mercy personified for all of us who otherwise had lost our vision in this dark age. A final verse, dear devotees. Our Damodar wanted to appear in Kali Yuga because he wanted to relish the mood of a very special devotee named Sri Radha. This verse is in remembrance of that particular pastime. Subadha iha khalvasi tvam aparadhikosi tyada Puraschana tatha bhavetyakila gopikanam vacha Vicharya kimuradhika dyuti subhavadhari kala Abhun madhura bhavadah kapata vesha damodara. So when he was tied to a mortar, something happened in Dwapar Yuga. So the gopis came around him and said, Subadha iha khalvasi. Now you are tied to a mortar. Why? Tvam aparadhiko si. Because you are an aparadhika. You are an offender. You are a criminal. Therefore, because of being an aparadhika, you are tied here to the mortar. Atah punaschana tatha bhava. So don't become an aparadhi again. Iti akhila gopika nam vacha. This was the word of all the gopis to me. Vicharya. Damodar is thinking, I also thought about it. That they are thinking, never become aparadhika again. Never become a criminal again. Therefore, I will never become aparadhika again. Apa means separated from Radhika. So I will never become separated from Radhika again. Therefore, Radhika Dyuti Subhavadhari. He took upon Srimati Radharani's complexion and Srimati Radharani's mood. So he will never become separated from Sri Radharani. He will never become aparadhika. Therefore, Kalava Bhuna Madhura Bhavadaha. He himself became the personification of Sri Radha's mood and complexion. And he bestowed Madhurya Ras upon everyone. But he was the same Damodar who was deceitfully disguised as a sannyasi. So this is the translation. You are firmly bound here to the mortar because you are an aparadhika, offender. Therefore, never ever again become an aparadhika. Damodar understood it as apa, separated from Radhika. Having meditated upon these words of all the gopis, our Damodar took upon the brilliant complexion and mood of Radhika and appeared as the great bestower of Madhurya Bhav in Kali Yuga. This is the highest benediction, the highest, the pinnacle of all mercy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed in this age of Kali. There may be 10,000 problems, in our lives, but this will not take away the fact that if we simply follow the path given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those problems will be irrelevant and we will easily be able to achieve the goal of life in the age of Kali. Dear devotees, this was an Ashtakam, 8 verses, named Kapatavesha Damodar Ashtakam, dedicated to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is the pastime of the final verse. The gopis telling him on the left-hand side that you are an aparadhika. Therefore, never again become an aparadhika. Therefore, Bhagavan Shri Krishna decided, I will never become separated from Radhika. And therefore, he took upon the mood and complexion of Radhika so that there is no separation. When Krishna appears, it is Ashtami, half moon. When Srimati Radharani appears, it is Ashtami, half moon. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the combined form of Radha and Krishna appears, it is half moon plus half moon, full moon. He appears on Purnima Tithi, Gaur Purnima. So he is Krishna's Ashtami and Radha's Ashtami combined together to give Gaur Purnima. Dear devotees, this is our Kapata Vesha Damodar. It's the same Damodar who appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So dear devotees, these were some verses. Once again, I would like to express that it's very difficult to express the verses because there's always a hesitation that whether these new compositions will be accepted by devotees or not. So once again, I would like to say that I'm very unqualified, but still I sing something because I like to sing. And there's a very nice verse which describes my mood. This verse is in a rare literature named Amod Mahakavyam. a Gaudiya Vaishnava literature named Amod Mahakavyam. A very nice verse in the meter Shikharini. Kime tamadvaktraniraguriti grani tanabudha Nibaddha Shri Radha Vraja Vidhu Gonamredan Sudha Jagannath Kshetrodbhava Bhava Mahamoha Shamaka Prasadam Kakasyad Galitamapi Vishnu Styajatika. The author, Shri Anup Narayan Bhatt, a Gaudiya Vaishnava, he says, Kime tamadvaktran niraguriti. Just because these words came from my mouth. Grihnita nabudha. Will the learned souls not accept these words just because they came from the mouth of an unqualified crow like me? Still they should accept, he says. Even though these words came from the mouth of an unqualified crow like me, still they should accept. Why? Nibaddha. These words are composed in a way that Shri Radha Vraja Vidhu, they are containing the qualities of Shri Radha and Krishna in them. My words were describing the qualities of Shri Krishna, Shri Radha in them. Guna Amredana Sudha, they had the nectar of the repetition of the qualities of Shri Radha and Krishna in them. So therefore, intelligent souls should accept. Now he gives an example. Jagannath Kshetrodbhava Bhava Mahamoha Shamaka. Just like in Jagannath Kshetra, in Jagannath Puri, there is Udbhava Bhava Mahamoha Shamaka. There is something which destroys all illusions. What is that? Prasadam. Jagannath Mahaprasadam. Now, if Jagannath Mahaprasadam, Kakasyad Galitam, even if it falls from the mouth of a crow, still because it is Jagannath Prasad, Tyajati Kaha. Who will give up? Everybody accepts Jagannath Prasad even though it has fallen from the mouth of a crow, because it is Vishnu Prasad. Therefore, even though I may be a crow, but still what has fallen from my mouth is Jagannath Prasad. It contained the beautiful descriptions of Bhagwan Jagannath, Sri Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, O learned devotees, O kind-hearted devotees, kindly accept this offering from my side. Just because these verses containing nectarian repetitions of the divine qualities of Sri Sri Radha Krishna have come from the mouth of a lowly soul such as myself, will the learned souls not hear them? They will certainly listen to these repetitions. Which saintly soul will avoid consuming the Lord's Mahaprasad cooked in Jagannath Puri, even if such Mahaprasad has fallen from the mouth of a crow? Indeed, such Mahaprasad is capable of destroying the great illusion of material existence. So, dear devotees, just as all of you intelligent devotees would accept Jagannath Mahaprasad even if it has fallen from the mouth of a crow, similarly, please accept this Jagannath Mahaprasad, these verses in glorification of Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though they have fallen from the mouth of a crow like myself. With this, dear devotees, I would like to conclude my presentation. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit Vidvam Saha Purayantu Tat Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tad Guroreva Me Nahi. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit. If there's any mistakes in this presentation, Vidvam Saha, your learned devotees, Purayantu Tat. You kindly correct whatever was mistaken. But Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit. If you liked anything, if there's anything nice, if a single slide was nice, if you liked a single verse, a single line, a single word, single syllable, or even half a syllable, if you liked, please remember Tad Guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. It is all of my Gurujanas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the families of Gaudiya Vaishnavas that have been in the past, that will be in the future, and that are there in the present, including all of you who are also my Gurujanas. It belongs to you. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much once again, Priti Vilasini Mataji, Kirti Dasundari Mataji, for kindly inviting me. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for this very nice talk on Kapata Vesha Damodar. The compositions were so beautiful. There's such lovely comparisons between Damodar Leela and Gaura Leela. I like the usage of many words that you very nicely, very poetically added, like sneha, griha, agama, aparadika. Everything was used so beautifully. And the poetry was incomparable, so beautiful, Prabhu. Not at all a crow. It was copy of a swan. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you again for accepting this invitation and speaking on the glories of Mahaprabhu. Chinmay Mataji, you want to take over questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji, you want to go ahead first?
I'm so sorry. Something happened. So sorry, Chinmay and Radhika Mataji, I just intervened, but I can't stop myself. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful class. You made our Gaur Purnima, because today in US, today is the Gaur Purnima, and you made it so beautiful. I remember a few of these verses in Facebook. You have posted. At that time, I was very active on Facebook. So, but today, hearing directly from your lotus mouth was such a beautiful addition to it. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And I really like your play of words. I look forward to those verses. So really, really very, very grateful to you. And you were just telling about the last verse you have quoted so many times, that how about the crow, but I 100% agree. Here also once Mother Urmila said, I don't know about others, but Hariparshad is definitely a swan. He is a Paramhamsa. So yes, I do second with whatever Mataji said. Yes, Prabhu, and we are so fortunate to have your association. You always accept our request, always come on the call, and you always enlighten us with your nectarian words. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I see one of the message in the chat that please share the verses. I know they must be still there in the Facebook, but if you can share this entire Ashtakam, that would be really great. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. All credit to my Guru Janesh. You kind-heartedly, you spoke some words for my encouragement, and also you quoted Urmila Mataji's words of encouragement. These words are very pure-hearted, like the Ganga, and I offer these pure-hearted words to the pure-hearted Guru Parampara, just as Ganga is offered to the Ganga. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have no words. I'm a crow here. So so beautifully you have composed those verses, comparing Lord Damodar to Mahaprabhu. Very, very fortunate to have heard it from your lotus mouth today, Prabhuji. I will go on now. There are many devotees waiting. So Radhe Govinda Mataji, Prabhuji, I'm not sure.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such wonderful composition of verses, and you explained such wonderfully. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. My question was, I'm sorry if I'm asking a silly question, Prabhuji, but I heard from devotees that like in the starting, during the starting of Sankirtan movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was distributing this Mahamantra as Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare first. So he was actually, he was said not to do this, so he reversed the mantra, and then he started distributing the mantra as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So is it true that Mahaprabhu changed the mantra? Is it true?
There is nothing like this is mentioned in any of the biographies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has 3 biographies which are considered to be authorized. The first is Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The second is Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. The third is Chaitanya Mangal by Sri Lochan Das Thakur. In these 3 authorized biographies, there is no such event mentioned Therefore, whosoever has spoken or claimed this, you might have heard from somebody, but it would be nice to ask them only the source of this understanding or the source of this event, because it is not mentioned in any of the 3 biographies. That is my answer to your query, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Sorry if I've asked a silly question.
No,
Prabhuji.
it's a nice question. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanava Pranam.
Prahladanand Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for allowing me to speak. And then the pranam to Hariprasad Prabhuji. This is the first time I have come across you and your lecture. And I don't have a question. I'm just appreciating whatever little Sanskrit I know and whatever, realizations I have so far in my journey from 1984 up to now. I am 70 years old. And the way you have presented the mastery over the Sanskrit is an excellent literature. And the humility you have expressed. This makes me compose a small last portion of the words, which you say that Kapatavese Damodara. So I'm telling you, you are Kapatavese Rupa. Rupa Goswami has blessed complete mercy on you, and you come to enlighten us with such excellent Sanskrit literature and mastery of Sanskrit. I again bow down to you, Prabhuji, in just appreciation of your excellence. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Thank you. I agree with the Kapat Vesh part, that I am deceitfully disguised as a devotee. Whether I'm a Rupanuga or not, time will tell. But I hope that I turn out to be
that's the mastery you have shown, about the multiple meanings of the word, like go and agam and all that. I myself study so much Sanskrit and all that. I have studied Sridhar Maharaj commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti, and you fall in complete alignment of their thought process. So that's why I appreciate it again, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Very well. Aspiring to see you someday in Las Vegas, someday if you come around.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prahladanand Prabhuji, for that beautiful glorification. Mohit Deshmukh Prabhuji. Deepayan Prabhuji, Mataji, sorry.
Deepayan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for a very wonderful class. I had 3 questions. Can I ask, or is it just one, Prabhuji?
Well, since this Bhakti Sangha Chapa conference, so I think let's ask one question at a time, and then let's go back to Mataji and see if he allows another question. Right.
Yes, bro. So I want to ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's unconditional causeless mercy. So I want to hear from you this explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime with Chota Haridas, the strictness. Can you explain that? It's little hard to understand.
Yeah. So one thing we have to understand, that when we see a sadhu being merciful towards us, we become very happy. We think he is very nice. We think he is very merciful. But when the same sadhu gives some curse, or when the same sadhu, bestows or he exhibits some strictness, then is that sadhu, same? Is he same merciful, or does his merciful nature change? So the answer is that the merciful nature doesn't change, because sadhus, whether they curse somebody or whether they bless somebody, in both cases, they are merciful. There is a very nice verse. This pastime is from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the 10th canto, when Narad Muni comes and he sees that Nal Kuvar and Manigriv, they are dancing, they are bathing naked in the Alaknanda river. So at that time, he curses them. So that time, the commentator on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, एकस्तत्र विशेष एष सुमति रुष्टो पितुष्टो पितत् कर्मावेक्ष तदीयमेव कुशलं शापाद्वराद्वेच्छति रुष्टो पितुष्टो पितत्. Whether a sadhu becomes angry or a sadhu becomes happy, the end result is the same. Because when a sadhu becomes happy, he will give you the blessing that may you see Bhagavan Shri Krishna, may you get darshan of Krishna, may your life be successful. And when a sadhu becomes angry, like Narad Muni became angry, he cursed these two trees. But the result of the curse was also that they got to see Lord Krishna. So Sri Harisuri says, what's the difference? Rushto pitushto pitad, whether a sadhu is angry or a sadhu is happy, the end result of coming in contact with the sadhu is the same. So that is my answer to your query, Prabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will never keep any of his associate bereft of his highest mercy, whether he is externally angry on them or externally pleased on them. That is my answer to your query.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Shyama Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hariparshad Prabhu. This is twins from Chicago, Shama Sakhi and Shama Gopi. Dandavat Pranam. So happy to see you, Prabhu. Wonderful class. Like, it's so scholarly and used with devotion. Actually, someone said you made our God Purnimas. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So I hope everything is well with you, Prabhu. Praying for your health and Mataji's also and Hari's also.
Thank you.
Prabhu, I just had not a question. Like I have just one reflection from my scientific brain. I was thinking when you were saying the verse, one of my favorite verses that you shared was the Stanpaya verse, like that if you don't have to milk from mother's body, like breast basically, then it means you don't take birth from, you don't even have to take repeated birth again. So I was just thinking, I hope my karma is not so bad that I go in lower species where there is no question of drinking milk. Like I should not go to amphibians or reptiles. So I hope this curse works for me. So I was just thinking about that because only mammalian species have like this drinking of milk from mother's breast, So, but I don't want to spoil the mood, but it was such a beautiful verse, Prabhu. Thank you so much for sharing. And my question was, Prabhu, about that Lord Chaitanya. We always hear that he took two things from each sampradaya, right? Like, so my question was like, he takes two from Ramanuja sampradaya, two from here, two from here. So I never understood, was it like literal? Or was it just to show people that the essence of all the sampradayas, like Vaishnava sampradayas, the goal is the same, the essence is the same. So was it literal or or what was the need, like, and does it make our sampradaya like not original or independent? Like, so what does it mean? If you can like share some insight, that will be helpful.
All right. So first thing about your comment that not all species of life drink breast milk. Of course, they don't drink breast milk. Therefore, the term used there was payaha. Payaha has two meanings, milk as well as water. So if you take birth as a tree, which obviously you won't take birth as a tree, but if somebody takes birth as a tree, so the earth is their mother, and from the earth they drink payaha, water. So in this way they also drink payaha, milk from their mother. So in this way the term was used in such a way that it can take care of all species of life. Secondly, you said regarding your question was, I think just skipped my mind. You asked something about what was it? Can you quickly remind me?
Prabhu, taking two things from each sampradaya.
Yeah, two things from each sampradaya. Yeah. So two things from each sampradaya. So these two things from each sampradaya, this was not mentioned in any of the three biographies. So this understanding of taking two things from each sampradaya came later in the Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, because later there was, these verses in the Padma Puran Sampradaya Vihina Ye Mantraste Vifalamata. And the 4 Sampradayas. And then there is a, at the end of the verse, Yutkale Purushottamat. These 4 will finally come out from Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri. So based on that, some Vaishnavas think that all of them will finally, culminate in Jagannath Puri, and therefore some Vaishnavas give the realization that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the essential practices of each and every sampradaya. So this understanding is not mentioned in any of the 3 biographies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is an understanding given by later acharyas who came in the same parampara. But this understanding is based on that verse, Sampradaya Vihinaye. That verse ends with Yutkale Purushottamat. That this will come from Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri, where all sampradayas will find their, common ground. So if you go to Sri Dham Mayapur, there is a temple established by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where on the various directions, 4 directions, there are acharyas of the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. And, he has tried to establish harmony between all the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas in that way. So this was taken up seriously by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, because they saw that in the near future there may be a time when the Vaishnava Sampradayas may also, face a situation where it will be difficult to carry on. Therefore, Sankirtan movement will, take their best practices and inculcate it within itself, and in that way that Sampradaya will also have its continuation in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lineage. So that is the idea behind Char Sampradaya. Right?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji, for the question. Bhavya Bhagavan Dasa.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and Prabhu Visheshwar Prabhu. Thank you so much, Hariparshad Prabhu, for a wonderful class on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it was very nectarian, Prabhu. Really, really grateful to you for composing all these verses and sharing it with us. You really made our Gaur Purnima more blissful by sharing all this verses, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for these series of amazing, amazing verses. I'm absolutely at awe. It's like a mystic power you have to put together Sanskrit verses. It's really, really wonderful. My question is connected to one of the verses you composed, connected to the curse.
Yeah.
Where it says that no devotee of mine should henceforward be able to drink the breast milk of any mother. And I understand that it's meant to mean that we shouldn't take birth again. But as I understand, the process is that we will take birth once again in Krishna's pastimes. And then from there, we will go to the spiritual world. So that curse, what do we do with that curse if we take birth again in Krishna's pastime?
Right. So obviously, yes, that verse is, it's a poetic expression of saying that, you'll never have to drink the breast milk of a mother again, in the sense that you will never have to take a birth in the material world again, because when we take birth in the material world from a material mother, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So when we take birth from a material mother and a material father, basically it is drinking breast milk from that mother was indicated there. But in a poetic way, I said that you'll never have to drink the breast milk of a mother ever again, in that sense that you will never have to accept a material mother and a material father again, which will cause you to take repeated births and deaths in the world again. Of course, those who are following the marg of Raga Bhakti, we know that it is mentioned by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Raga Vartma Chandrika, that they have to take one final birth, but that is not a birth in the material world. That it's a birth in the material world, but surrounded fully by Yogamaya. So in that birth, there will be no pains of material nature. So in that sense, one will, in that sense, one will never have to take a birth ever again from a material mother and a material father. That was the indication. But thank you. There are many things to balance in poetry, and sometimes some things may be slightly off balance, but still they make sense. I hope the answer is clear to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And please, I wasn't trying to find fault. It's just trying to understand, not to be cursed, to be able to progress there.
Yeah. And also in a general sense, when devotees go to Vaikuntha, they go directly. Just like, so those devotees are mainly, indicated in those verses. So those devotees who will go to Dwarka, Vaikuntha, etc., those devotees will directly go, and that verse applies perfectly to them also. So in that way, but I'm very thankful because I need devotees who will think deeply about the verses, those who are Sahridaya. And even if they point out some peculiarities, it's very nice, because only when devotees think about it and point some things out will I be able to understand whether the verses are actually being meditated upon by the devotees. So thank you so much for meditating upon those verses.
Thank you so much for offering them.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Radhe Govinda Mataji, you have one more question?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji, I had one more question, Prabhuji. Like I wanted to ask that this is the first time I will be observing the fast for Gaur Purnima. So I wanted to have some tips from you. And I had one more question, like do we break the fast after observing the moon? Like, do we have to see the moon, then we break the fast, and we break the fast with the, like we do in Ekadashi? Can you please help me?
Yeah. So in our Vaishnava society, we use a term called as breaking the fast. In English, this is because the term breakfast is commonly used in English. But the original Sanskrit term used by our acharyas is parana. Parana means completion, not breaking. So in actuality, we are not supposed to break the fast. Breaking means you eat something before the fast ends, that is called breaking the fast. We are not breaking the fast, we are completing the fast. So that is called Parana. So we complete the fast. On Gaur Purnima, what we do is, because different temples, they have different standards, but most temples have the standard of having Ekadashi Prasad on Gaur Purnima. And the reason for Ekadashi Prasad is because Ekadashi Prasad does not actually break or complete the fast. Ekadashi Prasad allows you to continue the fast, and the fast is actually completed on the next day when you accept Anna Prasad. That is when the Paran happens. So actually, when you are taking Ekadashi Prasad in the evening, at that time, the fast is not completed or the fast is not broken. The fast is completed on the next day when you accept Anna, grains, at the proper time. So that is completion of the fast. When should you take Ekadashi Prasad? After seeing the moon or something like that? There is nothing like that. After evening time, the appearance time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the moonrise basically, during that time you can complete the fast by accepting, not complete, you can accept Ekadashi Prasad, the fast will continue. You can complete the fast next day by accepting Anna Prasad. So the fast is actually technically not broken on Gaur Purnima. The fast continues, but the fast is completed on the next day. Paran happens on the next day when you accept grain prasad. So I hope this made sense to you, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And I'm sorry for using the term of breaking the fast.
No, please don't say sorry. I also used that term for many years. Later, I got into an understanding of the original terms and what was the purpose behind the original terms. These terms are also good, but we should know what are the original terms.
Okay, Prabhuji, can you share some tips to please Chaitanya on this occasion of Gaur Purnima?
The best way to please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to perform loving Sankirtan of Bhagwan Krishna's names. So the more we can perform Sri Krishna Sankirtanam in the association of devotees, the more Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be pleased. So with a nishkapat, with a deceit-free heart, in the association of devotees, performing Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the best way to please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if we do this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be very happy. I spoke some verses in which glorification of Damodar was there. So glorification of Damodar was there. So this is Kirtan. Kirtan means glorification of Krishna. So this Kirtan of Sri Krishna is pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The reason why for offering these verses to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is because it also has Kirtan of Sri Krishna. So therefore, whatever is Kirtan of Sri Krishna is pleasing to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can also perform Kirtan. Kirtan can be done by singing a song, by singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or by singing Vaishnav song, by singing or by speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to somebody. So in whatever way you can perform Kirtan tomorrow, please try to perform Sri Krishna Kirtan, and please dedicate all of that Sri Krishna Kirtan, Sri Krishna Samkirtan for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is what would be most pleasing to him on that day.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such wonderful explanation, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Megha Mataji is asking in relation to that answer, is there parent time for next day?
Parent time is sunrise. After sunrise, whenever you have your first grains in the morning, that is your parent time. That's okay. That's a flexible time, but mostly it's around sunrise time, and when one has completed one's TT worship, that is when one can perform parent.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Deepa and Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In the pastimes of the Lord, sometimes associates, sometimes more than one personality becomes one associate. Like Jagannath Mishra, I read, is Vasudev Maharaj and Nanda Maharaj. So can you explain the tattva behind this, Prabhuji? How to understand?
Yeah, see, it happens both ways. Sometimes two associates of Mahaprabhu have the same personality from Krishna Lila within them. Sometimes one associate from Mahaprabhu has multiple personalities of Krishna Lila within them. When there are multiple personalities of Krishna Lila in one associate of Mahaprabhu, it has to be understood that those personalities have given an amsha, a small piece of their character or a small piece of their swabhav, their nature, in the behavior of that associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is how it should be understood.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, do you have time? There are two more questions.
I have all the time. As long as the organizers are okay, I'm okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, sure. Thank you so much. Lalitangi Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, such a beautiful class. I don't have words, but I just want to offer some words in appreciation. Just like a cuckoo, you sang the verses you composed with sweet words and sweet meters, heart-melting many sweet meanings, comparing the heart-stealing butter thief and our sin-stealing rebirth thief. Truly, these are pearls that a swine can't value, but can just say thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Mataji, for kind words of encouragement for me. But all of you devotees are like hamsas, and therefore pearls are only given to hamsas. So this is Bhakti Sangha Japa conference of hamsas. I'm very thankful that all of you relished and are giving wonderful reflections upon it. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. By, Hamsa can ever be done. We can become only by the association of Hamsa, as told by Urmila Mataji. So we hope and have faith that your words can come true. So Prabhuji, one more question that one other devotee asked. So why is it that they are usually composing verses in 8 stanzas like Damodar Ashtakam, Guru Ashtakam, like everything is Ashtakam? Is there any significance for the 8 verses composed?
Usually, there is, as far as I have read, there is nothing specific mentioned like that. There are panchakams also, and there are dashakams also. There are 10 verses also. There are 5 verses also. So there's Govardhan Vas, Prarthana Dashakam, 10 verses. There are panchakams, the shatkams. There are 6 verses like that. So the numbers in themselves don't. There's no rule like that. But an ashtakam allows a poet to express a significant variety of thought, because if a poet has a lot to say, they can use a dashakam or even a shatakam, 100 verses. If a poet has, a few but important things to say, they can use an ashtakam. And so that is how, most poets try to compose their compositions. So depending upon how much they have to say. My desire was to write much more, but I was busy in some other services also. So maybe in some future day I may, meditate more upon the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When that opportunity arises and Krishna gives some inspiration, then maybe I'll write something more. But there's no specific rule about this, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Again, Hare Krishna, for your wonderful.
Thank you, Mataji. Preeti Vilasni Mataji, you raised your hand.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I wanted to ask a question. So this question was earlier asked by another devotee and we didn't find an answer. So we are seeking answer from you. The question is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation from Ishwarapuri and later took sannyas initiation from Keshava Bharati. So when Ishwarapuri was still on the planet, why did he choose to take sannyas from Keshava Bharati when Ishwarapuri also belonged to the Shankara line of Sampradaya and was a sannyasi?
Right. So I specified the answer in the talk itself. There is a statement in Shastra, Yad ahareva virajet tad ahareva prabrajet. The moment that you feel detached, that moment you can renounce. The moment Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt that it was time for renunciation, at that moment he wanted to renounce. Now Sri Ishwar Puri was not fixed in one place, because Sri Ishwar Puri had not taken Kshetra Sannyas. Sri Ishwar Puri was traveling all the time. In that case, in those days especially, it would be not easily possible to track where a person is, because there was no way of tracking individual. Especially a sannyasi is not supposed to be trackable. Sannyasi has taken airplane mode, is in airplane mode from the society. That is what sannyas traditionally means. So they are not supposed to be trackable by anyone in the general society. So if we see also in the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how many times did he meet Sri Ishwar Puri? So hardly once he met Sri Ishwar Puri, and not maybe one time or something like that after that, but not more than that. So Sri Ishwar Puri was such a devotee of the Lord, he would not stay in one place for long, so it is difficult to track where he is. Therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also there is no necessity that one should take sannyas from the same individual as one is taking diksha, because sannyas is not taking a diksha mantra. Sannyas is a change of ashram. So it is not accepting a new diksha mantra. So diksha mantra stays the same. Sannyas is a change in ashram. So for that reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not accepting a new diksha guru. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepting a change in ashram. And since it is difficult to determine where Ishwar Puri would be at that point of time, although nothing is impossible for the Lord, But still, Sri Ishwar Puri might have been far away, because Sri Ishwar Puri often used to travel to Vrindavan. There is a verse in Padyavali where Sri Ishwar Puri is traveling to Vrindavan and he is seeing a mango tree. Maybe sometime I have spoken about that verse. So Sri Ishwar Puri was constantly traveling. In such a situation, Yad ahareva virajet, the moment he felt completely detached, tad ahareva. So he found Sri Keshav Bharti, who gave him sannyas. So that is the logical answer to that query. I hope it is satisfactory.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Shyam Megdas Prabhuji.
Krishna Purnam. Thanks for a very nectarian and wonderful class. Ruji, my question is actually previously I was reading a novel on teachings from Mahaprabhu, life and teaching from Mahaprabhu, and author is actually not in our Sampradaya. He is Dr. Sumati Kshetrane Made, but he gives the same flow of love after reading this kind of novel. So should we continue it, or what will be your opinion, Prabhuji?
So you're saying novel? Novel is like a fictional story?
Yes, Prabhuji.
But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life is not a fictional story. The teachings happened for
Actually,
real. So
Prabhuji, it's not complete fiction. As like Chaitanya Charitamrita given very nicely introduction and these all many things, insightful things. Not actually fiction.
Right.
But he is not in our Sampradaya actually. He is not Vaishnava maybe.
All right. So it's very important to read about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from somebody who is a practicing Vaishnava. So somebody may not be a practicing Vaishnava and they may have good information about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We appreciate that. If there is something good to be taken from that literature, and if it is in agreement with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis, then we can accept anything which is in agreement with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis. But ideally, we want to learn about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from a person who is actually representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the day-to-day life. So that would be ideal. Although, if we read something from such a literature or such an individual, we have to check if what they are saying is in complete alignment with the Siddhantas given by six Goswamis. So that additional homework you have to do, that you have to check whether whatever they are saying is in full alignment with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis. And if it is in alignment with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis, then it can be accepted. But if there is something which is not in alignment with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis, then we should go with the Siddhantas of the six Goswamis, because that is the authentic path for progress for all of us. So I hope that clarifies.
Yes, definitely. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, there's a question in the chat. Susevani Mataji is asking, we know 6 kids of Devaki were 6 sons of Marichi who got cursed and had to be born. Why 8 girls of Sachimata died? Who were they?
Why 8 girls of Sachimata died and who were they? See, the incidents of Devaki are mentioned in the Puranas by Sri Vyasadeva. So when it is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat that when the next Vyasadeva will write, then they will write the events of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So the next Vyasadeva is Ashwathama, who is right now Ashwathama will be the next Vyas. So he will write about the events which took place now. So it is he who can in Samadhi find out who were these 8 and why, because just as Vyasadeva found out and he wrote who were the 6 children of Devaki, similarly the next Vyasadeva will be able to find that out. As of now, I have not seen any author write their realizations about this. So I think it is better to keep that to Vyasadeva, so that Vyasadeva can see in their Samadhi and find out who these children were, and then write about them. So the next Vyas will specify these details mostly, And that is what I would like to say in this regard. As of now, I have not read anything, any realizations about those children of Mother Shachi Devi. So that is my answer.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful answer. Deepa and Prabhu is coming again with his questions. Do you have time, Prabhu? There are 2 more hands raised with that.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhu, go ahead.
Thank you for allowing me to ask. Last question. Prabhuji, at the beginning of the PPT, there was one slide you quoted Srila Prabhupada that to get success in our Krishna consciousness, we need to offer obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panch Tattva. So how to understand this with is this only for our Gaudiya Sampradaya? What about the other Sampradayas, Vaishnava Sampradayas? How to understand?
See, all Vaishnava Sampradayas are bona fide ways of approaching Bhagavan. But if you want a specific mood of following in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan, that too in a very specific mood of Raganuga Bhakti, then you should tightly, hold close, tightly embrace the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Various Sampradayas offer various Bhakti rasas, but a specific variety of Madhurya ras is offered by Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Now, those who have read the literature of the Sampradaya understand that the best explanation of Madhurya ras is present in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So once they have seen that explanation, there is no match to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu or Ujjwal Nilmani. So therefore, those who have seen the writings of the Sampradaya know that in order to attain a specific variety of Madhurya Bhav, one has to closely embrace the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the way in which this should be understood. I hope this is clear.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for allowing us to ask further questions. This is connected again to your amazing poetic skills. When someone writes, and what is the reason behind the choice of the verse meter? Like he wrote an ashtaka, and usually ashtakas have the same meter all along. But then we see compositions like Vilap Kusumanjali, where there's such a mixture of verse meters. And I haven't come across any literature that would explain why there is, what's the reason behind the choice and the variation of verse meters.
Right. So different meters in Sanskrit poetry sometimes convey different emotions. For example, the Shikshashtakam is also a collection of 8 verses, but the Shikshashtakam has verses in different meters. So some of those verses are in a meter named Viyogini. Viyogini is like a lady in separation. So Viyogini is a meter which projects sadness. So some meters are by default used for projecting certain moods. So sometimes the author decides that I will keep one consistent meter. So that is upon the author. And then they can keep 1 meter, and that meter can convey any mood. Sometimes an author decides, no, this meter is specific for this mood, so I will use this for this mood. That meter is specific for another mood. So there is no hard and fast thing that this meter is supposed to be used for this particular mood. But some meters are specialized for some moods. Like I said, Viyogini is a meter which is specialized for the mood of separation. And so there are meters in the Shikshashtakam has verses which are in Viyogini meter. For example, Nayanam Galadashrudharaya Vadanam Gadgadarudhaya Gira Pulakairvichitam Vapu Kada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishyati Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishyati. So the mood is of a lady crying out in separation. So this depending on that, sometimes an author selects, other times an author selects a consistent meter for their Ashtakam or Dashakam. So that is how authors are spontaneous, and that's how sometimes they come to their decisions. So I hope it answers your query to some degree of satisfaction.
Yes, is there a Shastra that speaks about which meter expresses what mood, or it's just Loka Vichar?
Actually, the meters were originally listed in Chandah Sutram of Pingal Muni. So Pingal Muni is the Acharya of Chanda, and Pingal Muni just gave sutras. So once the sutras were given, then the commentary culture started. And once the commentary culture started, then commentators started giving their insights about the various sutras of Pingala. So Pingal Muni was the one who gave his Chandah sutras, and he did not specify that this Chanda, this meter is for this mood, that meter is for that mood. That came with the commentators. So if somebody is following if somebody believes in what the commentators are writing, then they can follow it. Otherwise, Pingal Muni, who is the original Acharya, does not enforce any such thing. So that is the reply.
Thank you so much for the clarification.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Induleka Karuna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much for this very, very nectarian Ashtakam. Prabhuji, I have a quick question on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and why he was chanting on his on the thread that he had. Because he was always in the in ecstasy, and he was constantly meditating on the Supreme Lord. So I understand that the Shad Goswamis, all of them were chanting on beads, or they were doing their mala, their japa a fixed number of times. But why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself have to do it?
Because why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself do it? He does not need to do it because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this time he has appeared to show the behavior of a devotee. So there is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I will specify this verse. I am sharing the screen. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 3.21, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Krishna says, Apana na kaile dharma shikhana na yai, eita siddhanta gita bhagavate gaya. So Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 3.21. Apana na kaile dharma. If I don't practice dharma myself, shikhana na yai, I cannot teach others. So unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has to show through his own practice that how to live the life of a devotee. So he shows that although as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not need to do anything, any such thing. He is not bound to do any such thing. But to set the example as an Acharya, he shows others how to perform japa, kirtan, etc. So that is the answer to your query. I hope it is satisfactory.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'm sorry it's very late. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. If there are no more questions, Prabhuji, with your permission, can we end the call?
Yeah, sure. If there are no more queries, that it means that either we understood everything or nobody understood nothing. But yes, we can end the call.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us this composition, and very, very grateful to you for accepting and giving us this class on this God Purnima. So we'll end the call here. We'll pay our obeisance.
I'll just say that I'm a very insignificant person with all the defects of a normal, ordinary human being. So whatever glorification or whatever words of encouragement were given to me, they all look good upon my Gurujanas, and they are not suitable for me. But thank you for kindly encouraging me, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, please kindly share the verses if possible.
Yeah, I'll share the PDF. So then you can post it in the group. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo Anand Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila
His
Prabhupada ki jai, His
grace
Grace
Prabhupada
Hariparshad
ki
Prabhu
jai.
ji.
Thank you very
Srila
much,
Prabhupada
Prabhuji.
ki jai.
His Grace Hariparshad Prabhu ji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Anant
Krishna.
Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Koti koti dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all devotees for joining us today.